Hi, Sam Hamory, Spray Station Tech Support here again. A couple of things I want to mention about your demo, and we're going to talk about cleanup too. First thing is, when you get your paper and you set it up on the booth like this, you want to make sure you're back tight against the wall, because if the paper's loose and flopping around, the air makes it move when you're spraying and it doesn't look as good. So the tighter the paper is against the back wall, the better the demo is going to be. Also, I want to show you how to show people the 3 different patterns on the gun. They're very easily described right here. It's a vertical, a circle, and a horizontal pattern. Those are your 3 choices. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how I do that demo for people. Basically, I'm going to spray one, I'm going to change it, I'm going to spray the next, I'm going to change it and spray the third. That's going to show people the 3 different controls. So watch how that works. That's all there is to it, and all I did was change the pattern controller on the front of the gun. It's that simple. After you've done this a couple of times, that's very easy to do, and everybody's amazed by that. So you definitely want to show them that you're doing that. Another thing you might want to do for yourself to make this whole process easier is to get yourself a tote or a big cardboard box, something that you can hold everything in so that you can kind of keep it down to 2 trips. I carry the spray booth in 1 trip and all my other equipment in the 2nd trip, and it makes it very simple. Also, when you're setting up, you want to make sure that you don't leave that stuff laying around. You want to keep your area neat and clean. Lowe's likes their places neat and clean and organized, so don't leave wires out where people can trip over them. Don't leave your extra boxes and materials out where it looks ugly. Just keep it neat and clean. And then cleanup is going to be the last thing you're going to have to do. Now, I know some of you are doing demos just on Fridays. Some of you are doing demos Fridays and Saturdays. If you're doing Friday and Saturday, you don't need to clean the gun in between. You can continue using the same paint. But after you've finished, and it's going to be maybe 3 days or so before you do another demo, you do need to break the gun down and clean it out. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I've got an extra gun head here. Basically, after you've taken the cup off the gun and put the lid on the cup so you keep the paint fresh, now you've got a gun that's got paint in the pickup tube, there's paint inside the gun head itself, and the front nozzle is going to be covered in paint. So these are all things that we need to clean. So I'll show you how we break the gun down. Keep in mind this will be a little bit of a messy job, but it's just latex. You can do this in the sink. You can do it right at Lowe's in the bathroom sink, or you can take it home and do it where it's more convenient for you. But you do want to get it done pretty quick. Don't let it sit in the gun overnight and dry up. So what you're going to do is you're going to take off the pickup tube. That just pops right out. And you're going to put that under the water to wash out. The gasket comes out of the bottom of the gun. That'll be covered with paint, probably on both sides, and there'll be a bunch of paint up in here. So you're going to clean that off and set it aside. To take the front of the gun off, you're going to take the air cap ring off here. That simply unscrews. Once you've taken that off, the air cap comes right off. Okay? These parts all need to be cleaned. At this point, the pattern changer slides out of the gun. Now the system comes with a little plastic tool, and this is for removing the nozzle and the needle. Basically, you're going to take the Y-shaped end, and it snaps right over the end of that brass fitting. And once you've got it there, kind of compress it a little bit and pull, and it should come right out. There you go. That one took a little bit of effort. It'll get easier after you've done it a couple of times. So this nozzle has paint in it, so you'll want to take that and rinse that under the water also. At that point, you take your same tool and turn it around the opposite end. It's going to slide over the needle head, and you'll feel it fit into a slot. At that point, you use it like a screwdriver. Unscrew the needle, and you'll hear it when it releases. There'll be a little click. Then use it also to pull that needle out. Now the needle should be covered in paint, and this is an important part to get clean. Alright, so it's just a brass needle, really simple to clean. One of the most important parts of this brass needle is where this lip seal slides back and forth on the needle. That area where that lip seal slides needs to be free of any material. Otherwise this lip seal can get caught in a position and then you can't spray the gun. So you want to keep this clean. At this point the gun's completely broken down. You can run water through any area of this gun, you can't hurt it. I forced water through the front, through the back, through both holes here. So this is what I want to talk about next, because you may have an issue at some point where the gun stops spraying. Maybe the air's coming out and everything's working and it seems like it should be spraying, but you're not getting any material out. That can happen if this second hole gets clogged. And let me describe how that works. When the air comes in the back of the gun, most of it goes right out through the front. But a small amount's diverted down right here into the cup. That's what pressurizes the cup, pushes the paint up. This is the hole where the air comes out. And while it's pretty big right here, you can get your finger in the end of it. At the top, the opening is the size of a point of a pencil. So I want you to get yourself a highly specialized tool to work with this. We call it here a paper clip. You're just going to unfold this paper clip and use it to poke up through the bigger hole. Not the pickup tube where the paint goes, but the bigger tube, which is the airflow. Now, when you poke it up, when you get through the little hole, you can actually look in here and see the paper clip. If there was a plug of clogged material in there, this will push it right out and that'll start the gun spraying again. So it's real simple to do. I want to make sure you do that. Now I also use that paper clip to clean the holes on my air cap. This is a very important part to keep clean. There are 8 holes on the front that correspond to 4 holes on the back. You need to poke through all these holes and get any excess material out. This is the air pattern. This is what causes the nice flow of paint to your project. So you want to make sure that all 8 of these holes are unclogged and clear. This right here, most important part to keep clean. Once you've cleaned all these parts, just set it aside and let it dry. After it's dried, however long it takes, just reassemble it. So I'll show you how that goes. First of all, you take your clean needle, you slide it back into that center opening, put your tool back on it, and use it as a screwdriver and tighten it until it bottoms out. It'll stop at some point. Take your brass nozzle. This part just presses in, so slide it over the needle head, push it into the gun as hard as you can until it bottoms out. Next part is your pattern changer. That only fits one way. It has to go through that slot. Now your air cap goes on. There's a little fitting here that fits right into a slot. There's only one position that this air cap fits, so you can't get that wrong. And at this point, you tighten it down with the air cap ring. Now if you over tighten this air cap ring, if you crank down on it, it makes this hard to move. It's hard to change that pattern. So you don't need to crank down on it. It just needs to be finger tight to the point at which the air cap doesn't shake around, and it keeps the the pattern changer nice and smooth and easy to use. Don't forget your gasket. You need to have this gasket in here. This is what seals the air pressure into the cup, and that just snaps in place. And then your pickup tube, which fits in the smaller hole. Now, one nice feature about this pickup tube that you can tell your customers when you're talking to them is that if they're spraying a ceiling, when they put this pickup tube in, they angle it towards the back of the gun. That way, when they're spraying up and the paint's in the bottom of the cup like this, it's picking up paint. Whereas if you had it this way and the paint was down here, you'd stop spraying a lot sooner. So it's a really convenient feature on the gun. You want to point that out to people. I think that's about it. If you've got any questions, you can call me. I'm tech support. You can use the customer service number that's right there on the HVLP box. I'm available Monday through Saturday. Now, I also do these demos at Lowe's, so it's better if you don't try and reach me on Friday or Saturday. If you got a question, I'm always available Monday through